And so it begins. The 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games are underway. I am Sean Woodland alongside Bill Grundler as we are ready for the first of 12 scored events for the men, the pool.
I'll tell you what, this is a great event. Everyone's been training for swim stuff. That's what they all say, because the CrossFit Games is throwing swimming in. But now we're in a familiar area, the pool. But you know what? Now we got that rig at the end of the pool with a gymnastic bar muscle. But then that will throw people. It's going to be interesting to see how that works out for everybody.
Two movements in this opening event, a 25-yard swim followed by 3 bar muscle ups and then another 25-yard swim, 10 rounds, and a 25-minute time cap. And all sorts of little monkey wrenches in here for these athletes.
You know, when you see 3 bar muscle-ups for most of these guys, that's not a big deal. But what they did, throwing in the wrench, is you have to break up every single one. So you actually have to come off the bar and reset. That, for the women, showed to be kind of an issue, but maybe that's a good thing, because maybe that might be a time to dry their hands. We'll see what kind of strategy they have.
Your starting grid for the first of 3 heats here for the men. In lane number 7, keep an eye on Orlando Trejo. This is a guy whose 2012 Reebok CrossFit Games were basically over before they started in that Pendleton endurance event.
That's right. It came down to the swim. He was not able to do it. So he's had a year. What kind of swimming ability does he have now? Now, granted, it's not open water, but nice, familiar, comfortable pool. But again, swimming is swimming. We'll see, you know, is he going to have a hard time breathing with his face in the water? It'll be interesting to see what he does this year.
15 men in this first heat. We have 3 total heats. This is the first of 12 scored events here at the 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games. There will be 3 events per day. After this, the athletes will head indoors at the StubHub Center and go through the 2 rowing events. Then they get a day off, and then the competition begins in earnest on Friday, Saturday, and then on Sunday, 3 events every day. And lane number 1, that's Eric McGee. He is out of the Northeast region. He finished 3rd there to get himself here to the 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games.
You know, this guy right here, MMA fighter. He's a professional fighter. This is what he does. So he loves doing the CrossFit thing, but has he been doing swimming? That'll be interesting.
Next to him in lane 2 is Ryan Swoboda. We're ready for the start. Underway here in the first of 3 heats. A 25-meter swim followed by 3 bar muscle ups and then another 25-meter swim. 10 total rounds for these athletes. In lane number 2, that's Ryan Swoboda out of the Northwest. He finished 3rd in that region, and every athlete basically hitting the deck at the same time. Orlando Trejo and Alex Nettie, the last 2 out of the pool and onto the bar.
You know, Ryan Swoboda, what's interesting about him is he's trained by C.J. Martin Invictus, and I know that their program, they throw swimming in on a regular basis, so it'll be interesting to see if that really helps him here. Plus, he's a firefighter, and I got to throw my love out for the firefighters.
Travis Mayer in lane 10 was the first back in the pool. He is your early leader, as both Orlando Trejo and Alex Nettie, the only 2 athletes still on the bar. Now both of them are done and will get back in the pool, but it's Travis Mayer in lane 10 making the turn first. Next to him in lane number 9 is David Levy, pushing him for first place. Meanwhile, in lane number 4, Daniel Petro, he is also out front. So 3 athletes battling it out for the top spot. Mayer in 10, Levy in lane number 9, and the 2 of them in the middle of your screen will be getting out of the pool at exactly the same time for round number 2.
What's going to be really interesting here is how they pace themselves. You can't go out too hard in the beginning, because by round 4 and 5, you're going to be shot. So they need to stay smooth and consistent, and they need to be able to make that transition from the pool up onto the bar as fast as they can. I honestly would have seen a lot more hand drying. We actually saw a little bit right there, but I would have seen more through all these men, because you know that's what the women were doing all the way through.
So it's Levy beating Mayer back to the pool. So now David Levy is your current leader. Levy was the winner of the Africa region. He also runs a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym back home.
Again, you know, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys, the wrestlers, the grapplers, they're just kind of good at everything. They have that really, you know, good motor control, body control. And he looks very comfortable in the water. So obviously, you know, hopefully he does a little surfing or some swimming out there when he's out in South Africa.
In lane 3 in the blue swim cap, that's Marcus Philly, who was 4th in Northern California. He used to compete in the team competition, making his individual debut here at the CrossFit Games.
You know, he did a really, really great job at the regionals, was able to come through, just it's really great when you have these team athletes that actually can put their stamp on it at the regionals and come through and really showcase themselves as an individual in the games.
In lane 4 on his 3rd round of bar muscle ups, that's Daniel Petro out of the southeast region, and this is a guy who spends a lot of time around the water.
That's right. He's kind of one of those adventure guys. He likes mountain biking, surfing, snowboarding. So again, very outside the box kind of a training type person. This I think he'll do okay in.
So Petro back in the water, and now it's Petro and Levy battling for the lead, but Petro about a half length ahead of David Levy for the lead in this opening heat. It's the first of 3 heats here in the first of 12 scored events at the 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games as we passed the 3-minute mark. And it's Daniel Petro with the lead on David Levy, and Petro looked like he may have spared a glance to his right to see where Levy is, but we're still early in this event.
You know, where these guys are sitting, what's nice about having lanes is you can actually see where everyone is now. Go down one way, you can actually look across the pool, see where everyone is, come back the other way, see where everyone else is. David Levy's looking, or Daniel Petro's looking great, very smooth, just real calm right now.
And there is David Levy, who looks down to see what Daniel Petro is doing, and Petro wasting no time. He is up and over for his first bar muscle up, and David Levy completing his first repetition as well. Not going to the towel, and he is back up on the bar. One more rep to go for David Levy as he battles Daniel Petro for the lead. Petro is done and back in the water, and Levy is close on his heels. Past the 4-minute mark. The bottom right of your screen is Daniel Petro out of the southeast region, currently leading this event. And then in the top left, the man chasing him for first place right now, David Levy out of Africa.
Now the nice thing that Daniel Petro is doing is you can see he has a glide to his swim. Very smooth, long strokes, and he actually glides. He's saving his energy, and that's what swimming is all about. It's about efficiency. You don't have to be the strongest person, but the most efficient swimmer is going to make their way through the water nice. And he's conserving his energy right there. If you look up at the top of the screen at David Levy, totally different stroke. He's actually fighting the water. He's really churning his arms. That's wasting a lot of energy.
The two of them, Petro and Levy, getting to the deck at the same time. And both back on the bar. So Levy took a look. He's on the left of your screen. You can see him looking down the deck towards Daniel Petro. The two of them both went to the towel. Petro off for his second rep now, and now David Levy through his second rep as well.
You know, neither of these guys are having a hard time getting up over the bar. Nice, strong pull. But what you'll notice is that this pull that they're doing is the same thing as the swim stroke. Nice long open, they're using all their lats to pull themselves in, and then that final push up the top of the bar is triceps, and that's the bottom part of the pull of the swim.
So Petro still your leader as he took a flying leap off the deck into the pool and chewed up a lot of ground, and he is starting to open up a little bit more of a lead now on David Levy. And you talked about the efficiency in the strokes, and now it's Petro taking a little bit of a break before he made the turn, but he's still looking pretty smooth here.
Yeah, he's just cool, calm, and consistent. His stroke is nice and slow, but again, he's gliding. He takes that nice big jump. He's saving some stroke time there. He took a breath at the end, and I think you'll see the swimmers will actually be doing a flip turn, but he's doing what he needs to do right now. Being that he's in his 4th round or his 5th round, he wants to stay strong so that he can come home at the end. He doesn't want to blow out.
In lane 6, that's Tyson Takasaki out of the Canada West region. He just missed a trip to the games in 2011 when he finished 3rd there. He's making his debut appearance here at the CrossFit Games. It's still Daniel Petro in lane 4 and David Levy in lane 9, battling it out for the top spot. This is the opening heat for the men, the first of 3. Levy on the left, Petro on the right, and watch the leap that Petro takes into the pool, and he's about a third of the way down before he emerges from the water and starts his freestyle stroke. His form looks to be breaking down just a little bit, but he has a sizable lead over David Levy as he continues to increase that as rounds go by. So Petro touching the wall, taking a look, taking a few breaths, and then getting back to work on the swim. David Levy just now getting to the wall. So Daniel Petro, round by round, as he is now in his 7th round, putting more ground between himself and Levy.
You know, if you look at what he's doing, he's just moving so slow, so you don't really know if it's a race or not. It doesn't look like it should be a race. But again, this is a different type of event. You have to swim, you gotta control your breathing. you're working yourself on the muscle up. And again, it's not that it's a lot or that it's super hard, but over the course of this, 30 reps is a lot. That is kind of a pain. So dealing with that, controlling your energy, controlling your efficiency on your stroke, saving as much as you can for the muscle up so you can get right up and over. I mean, look at that. No problem at all on the bar. Just gets up smooth. He's not breaking where one arm goes over first. And, I mean, he just looks great right now.
Petro on the right, Levy on the left. Petro emerged from the water first. Levy was behind him. And now Petro is through 3, and here goes the leap.
There it is.
So Petro,
save the distance, Why use your arms if you don't need to?
Yeah, he got about a third of the way down again before he came out and started using his arms to propel himself through the water. Past the 8-minute mark here in the opening heat of the first of 12 scored events of the 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games.
You're starting to see some of the athletes are changing up their stroke. Right there, Orlando Trejo, I believe that's Orlando Trejo in lane 6. I'm sorry, Tyson Takahashi, he was doing backstroke. You're gonna see these athletes, all of a sudden they can't breathe as well, so flip over on their back, try and get a little bit of air, conserve that oxygen as much as you can, and then, so it's easier on the bar muscle up.
That's Asia Barto in lane 12 out of the South Central region. He was 21st at the games last year. Barto, one of the biggest athletes in the field. He's 6'5", 220 pounds, and taking his time getting back into the pool. He is closing out round 6, so well off the lead pace that is currently being set by Daniel Petro, who is on his 8th round of bar muscle-ups.
Wow, so for Asia, he's so long and so big. If he had a swimming background, he would be deadly in this event. He doesn't, and you can tell with his stroke, he's fighting the water. He has long albatrossian arms. He should be across this pool in about 5 strokes. But if you don't know the stroke, if you don't know how to swim super efficient, then it's a battle the whole time. And that's why swimming is a great workout for people, because they're fighting against themselves, fighting against water, and that's what he was doing.
Daniel Petro, still your leader in the middle of your screen, all by himself, as in lane number 9, David Levy continues to fall back as Petro still very smooth here. Not moving very quickly, but very smooth, as using his energy very wisely.
Yeah, again, it's so deceiving. He just looks like he's doing a warm-up, but he's moving, and you can tell his stroke and what he's doing compared to everyone else. I mean, he's lapped virtually a third of the group that's out here in the pool right now. So what he's doing is perfect. He's playing this game exactly right now.
So Petro back on the bar, and this is his 9th round. One more round to go after this, as Petro is through 1 and now 2 of the bar muscle-ups. And Petro has not taken a lot of time to go over to the towel and chalk, and still doing very well here.
That was something that I thought everyone would be doing, and he's blowing that strategy right out of the water, literally. He goes right up on the bar and grabs a hold of it. Didn't even look like he was slipping at all. There wasn't any sort of a readjustment. He's just completely solid. You would have thought he was dry. So I'm shocked and impressed at that whole strategy. It's working great.
So Petro getting ready to make the turn, and now going to a bit of a breaststroke just to get himself to the wall. And this is where we've seen him take a couple of breaths. He situates himself and then propels himself again with his legs off the wall. And now we'll start his 10th and final round as we approach the 11-minute mark. Meanwhile, in lane 14, Mikko Arompa out of Europe.
That's right, he's the other
starting
Mikko.
to make a move here.
The other Mikko has always been in Mikko Salo's shadow, but Mikko Salo was hurt. He has now made his way in, and this would be a nice event for him. You wouldn't normally think that someone from the European, I think he's from his region, is going to be one of the heavier swimmers, but he's moving great right now. Sneaky off to the side, no one was really seeing him, but he's doing fantastic.
There's Daniel Petro. He continues to lead his final set of 3 muscle-ups, and Petro will set the early time to beat. Can he get in underneath 12 minutes? Petro with just half a length to go now. He has to hop out of the pool and then make it to his finishing pad to record his time. Daniel Petro with a couple strokes left. He's up on the deck and now has to make it to his finishing pad. So Petro inside of 12 minutes, an impressive mark for Daniel Petro as he finishes with a time of 11 minutes, 55.9 seconds.
That was an absolutely incredible job by him. Again, you wouldn't know the time by what you were seeing. Just didn't look like that should have been the time at all, but he was smooth, consistent, his transitions were fast, and that's what allowed him to win that race. That was a great showing.
So now the battle for second place. David Levy just looked like he finished up his event as well. So he finished the second with a time of 12:15.8, and now we look for the third place finisher, and it's going to be Miko Oronpa. Third place finish for Miko, a time of 12:31.1 second. Again, this is the opening heat. 3 heats here for the men.
Absolutely, but you know what? Why not put a good stamp on it right now? Those guys, the key to their success in this event was consistency. They were consistent in the swim. There weren't any failed bar muscle-ups. The transitions were fast, and that's what allowed them to go through. Also, they paced it correct. It was great.
And surprisingly, not a lot of the leaders, especially Daniel Pico, didn't waste a lot of time going to the chalk and the towel. He got right up there.
I really honestly didn't see any. I mean, I don't think he grabbed the towel one time. And
Marcus Philly now out of the pool. He will finish in fourth. Philly out of Northern California. Marcus Philly coming in with a time as we await the results. Marcus Philly will finish fourth, 13:14.7 for Marcus Philly.
Again, a great time, you know, not bad consistently in here, or with the other group. And again, we have a good time to compare this to. We used Chase Ingram's time of 12:31 yesterday. Again, that is a swimmer. He's a swimmer. That's what he does. So when you have a swimmer that comes in and throws a time down like that, and you have these athletes in the first heat, that's impressive. I think we're going to see some pretty impressive numbers over the course of the rest of this event.
So now in lane number 10, that's Travis Mayer. Mayer out of the pool, and he will close out his event. So Travis Mayer clocking a time of 14:07.9 seconds.
You know, I think this is a great event for these people for these athletes to start out with, because it just gets them in there, gets them loose in it. Hey, it's California, come jump in the pool, the sun's out, guns out, you know? So get these really fit-looking athletes come out and do some crazy stuff. That's awesome.
That is your two-time defending CrossFit Games champion, Annie Thorisdottir, in the green shirt, cheering on her boyfriend, Frederick Agidius, who is in lane number 5. Agidius still in the pool and closing out his event as he brings it into the finish line. So Frederick Agidius getting ready to get out of the pool and close out his event.
Not too bad, not too shabby training partner to have. You know, the fittest woman in the world 2 times around.
Annie Thorisdottir not in this year's competition. She has a back injury that kept her out of the Open, kept her out of regionals, and then she was just not able to go here at the Games. So we will have a new champion for the women.
That's right.
Still a lot to be decided for the men. As we also have a 2-time defending champion in the field, Rich Froning. He is up in the 3rd and final heat. Past the 15-minute mark here, the first of 3 heats here in the opening event of the 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games, one of 12 scored events.
So you can see the tempo difference between the men that are left here in the event as opposed to the men that were in the beginning of the event. Again, swimming is a deceiving deal. It really is. If you don't have that skill, all of a sudden you can go from a great athlete to looking like you've never done anything athletic in your life. It's something that all these athletes now, man, we all need to be training for this stuff, because, you know, if you want to make it to the Games, it's something you have to have. It can't be a maybe, it's a will be. So they all should be training this right now.
Ryan Swobody out of the Northwest region, closing out his event, hoists himself onto the deck, and now we'll get to his finishing pad. So Swobody with a time of 16:15.8. Next to him, Eric McGee out of the Northeast. McGee is done. So all these men looking like they're going to make it inside of the 25-minute time cap. McGee 16:24 flat. That's Alex Nettie out of the North Central region.
Alex has been 4th place out of that region 2 times around, so he is so excited to be here. You talk to him about it, just big old smile on his face. He's fired up.
Asia Bartow is in. Bartow, one of the bigger athletes in the field, and I'm sure he never wants to see this pool again. Give that guy a barbell. Bartow, 16:46.6. And now Alex Nettie is on his final round. He is on his 9th round. So Alex Nettie, still plenty of work to do. as he has 2 more rounds of bar muscle-ups to go. Orlando Trejo in lane number 7, also on his 9th round, and then next to him, Tyson Takasaki out of Canada West is on his final round.
I'll tell you what Orlando needs to do is he needs to complete this event. This is something that's going to be a mental positive in his brain, because this is what knocked him out last time. So just get through the swim. It doesn't really matter what the time is. Like, just get through it, and then you get to showcase the rest of your abilities after that.
Stay in. Still have 11 events to go, but if you can get yourself a win right off the bat here, you're setting yourself up very nicely for the rest of the weekend. 3 events every day starting today. After that, they rest on Thursday, and then things get going at the StubHub Center on Friday. We'll have 3 events every day. The other 2 events today will be at the Velodrome at the StubHub Center. We're just going to row a half marathon.
Just row a half marathon. No big deal. No big deal.
Trejo is through round 9, as is Alex Netty. So Netty making his way back down, and he will begin his 10th and final round. Less than 7 to go before we hit the 10-minute time cap. Trejo's back in the pool. He'll close out his 9th round. So Orlando Trejo, who dropped out in the opening event of the 2012 Reebok CrossFit Games because of the open water swim, like you said, Bill, is going to set himself up to stay in the competition and see what he can do against the big boys here.
Yeah, I think it's great. You know, we've had actually quite a few stories like that of athletes that are so amazing. They come in here, and that's the one thing that stops them. All of that, the field of athletes are getting better at that. Orlando obviously does not want that to happen ever again. And he's just trying to get through this and just trying to complete it. And he doesn't have any issue at all on bar muscle-up. So all he has to do is get down and back on, through the water, and then he's going to finish this, and he's going to be able to enjoy the rest of the weekend.
And he's an extremely powerful athlete. Remember, we have that clean and jerk ladder where he can make up some points and move himself up the standings. Meanwhile, Tyson Takasaki has come across the finish line, 18:55.7 seconds for Takasaki. And now Alex Netty out of the pool. Netty, his final 3 bar muscle-ups. 25-minute time cap here. Both he and Orlando Trejo going through their final set of bar muscle-ups, and then one more trip down the pool. Alex Netty finished 3rd in the North Central Regional. He has a baseball background. He actually spent some time in the Chicago White Sox program.
Yeah, I can tell you what, you can say that these guys wish that it was maybe 50 bar muscle-ups and 3 meters of swimming, but unfortunately it's not. But you know what, again, they're getting through that. They're seeing if they have any weaknesses. That's what this whole competition is about. Seeing what athletes have what events, and wow, that was a good belly flop right there by Alex Netty.
We got to work on that diving. I felt that up here. I am stinging from watching that.
Again, and that's skill.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
That's a skill. The swimmers will have that. The people that are in the water will have that. If you don't spend time in the water, those are the kind of dives you're going to get.
Orlando Trejo making his way up onto the deck. So Trejo is in, and now Alex Netty, his final length. He is out of the pool, so Alex Netty getting in inside of the 25-minute time cap. The 2-time champ has been watching the action backstage. Rory McKernan is with Rich Froning.
Thanks, Sean. I'm back here with all of the athletes who have yet to take on the workout with 2-time champion Rich Froning Jr. Rich, you've had the opportunity now to watch the other athletes who have competed. What are you thinking going into the workout?
Looks like it's going to come down to the swim, which probably isn't the best case for myself. Not the most efficient swimmer, but it's one event of many. So try to have fun and try to do the best we can.
But you're not a complete stranger to it. I know you got the pond there at your house, and you utilize that quite a bit. Am I right?
Yeah, I swim quite a bit, but still doesn't mean I'm very good at it. So.
Okay. And you're champion, you've been through this a lot, so you know the big picture of the CrossFit Games is not about winning individual events, but what do you have to do here to secure maybe your ability to get a repeat this year?
Yeah, just need to at least hang with the people in my heat, because those are probably going to be some of the better times. There's a few guys that are, I know of one that's a D1 swimmer, and he was making us all look pretty stupid in the pool, so we'll see. It'll be fun.
All right, thank you, Rich.
Appreciate you guys.
Amanda is now standing by with the heat winner, Daniel Petro.
Rory, thanks. Daniel just told me that this workout was fun, and I asked, are you nuts? Why was this fun for you?
This brings me back to childhood right here. I just grew up in a pool, neighborhood pool, playing swimming games and diving in the pool and trying to get past people, and so this this is something that I'm definitely in my comfort zone with. And I don't think it was really the muscle ups. Not a lot of people are struggling with muscle ups. It wasn't enough of them. It was all just the swim and transitioning in and out of the water. And you know, I grew up with a lake near my house and a pool near my house and swimming a lot, never competitively, but just something that was fun, diving in and struggling for air was the big thing. It's the funny thing about the water, you can't breathe under it, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't work really that well. I have to ask you about the flying leap that you took off of the pool deck every single time you entered the water. Was that part of your strategy?
Yeah. You ever heard of the game Sharks and Minnows?
No.
That was it.
Okay.
You dive in, you got to go past people. I grew up playing that game, so it was
Well, it
fun.
worked for you here today. Daniel, thanks so much.
Thanks.
Sean,
All right.
back to you.
Thanks, Amanda. So right now, Daniel Petro is very much a minnow. A lot of Sharks still trying to chase this guy down, but in third place, Miko Oronpa came on late.
Again, Miko was consistent, no problem with the bar muscle-ups. He was smooth the whole time. He never really slowed down, and that's what allowed him to get up into that third place spot.
So Oronpa right now sits in third place overall, the man from Europe. Hoping he holds on to that spot. In second place, the man from Africa, David Levy, who was up there at the top for much of this event.
That's right, he was battling with first place and playing with it for most of the time. Again, real smooth in the swim. I think the only thing that really slowed him down was he started kind of playing with his hands, trying to dry his hands off. But other than that, he was great.
And then this man, Daniel Petro, currently has the mark to beat, 11:55.9 seconds.
The event was fun, he said. And you know what? It looked like he had fun. He was smooth, calm the whole time. There wasn't any sense of urgency. He just kept moving, never slowed down, and that's what allowed him to win that race without a doubt. He looked great.
Your top three after the first of three heats. It's Daniel Petro, the only man to get in inside 12 minutes. David Levy from Africa. He is in second place, and Miko Oronpa out of Finland, 12:31.1. One heat down, two to go. More men will try their hand at the pool and the bar muscle-ups. More live coverage from the Willett Aquatic Center next